NBA insider Jake Fischer has given a major update into Isaiah Hartenstein's free agency, and also there is the potential that Mitchell Robinson could get traded, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as always, because there have been some recent reports about the free agency of Isaiah Hartenstein. Now that since the season's over, the Knicks can talk to Hartenstein before he hits free agency with the new CBA rules. And in order to bring him back, the Knicks might want to cut some money in the process by trading away Mitchell Robinson, the longest tenured New York Knick. And honestly, when you think about it, there's pros and cons to each, and we are going to jump into it. But let's just take a quick look at what Jake Fischer had to say on this. As he said, at the moment, Hartenstein is now generally expected to return to New York as the Knicks have contacted opposing teams about moving Mitchell Robinson. And Isaiah Hartenstein, obviously, good starting center, puts up 8 points and 8 rebounds with 2.5 assists per game, 2.3 stocks per game, shoots 64% from the field. There's a lot to like about Isaiah Hartenstein's game. Don't get me wrong. However, Mitchell Robinson has been with the Knicks for a while, and honestly, if you ask me, I think Mitchell Robinson is better than Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, Hartenstein might be better for the Knicks because he fits really well playing that high post style. He has some scoring touch around the rim that Mitch doesn't really have. He fits really well with Jalen Brunson. He fits well with Julius because it lets Julius go downhill and gets him a little more spacing. I wouldn't mind if the Knicks traded Mitchell Robinson. I would rather them not, because I think Mitch is one of the few players in the NBA who can guard really any big man in the league very well, because he's a better defender than Hartenstein. Mitch is one of the best defenders in the NBA when he's healthy, and when he's healthy, he is a top 10 center in the NBA. I don't know if you could say that about Hartenstein. Now, do you need a top 10 center in the NBA to win the finals? Not exactly. It's not like a necessity. I wouldn't call Daniel Gafford one of the Dallas Mavericks made it to the finals with him. Obviously, Gafford's a very good player. I'm not trying to disparage him. I'm just saying I don't know if I'd call him a top 10 center in the NBA. But when you look at this situation, the Knicks might have to end up choosing between Mitch and Hartenstein on who they want to go with for the future. I'll put out a poll right around when I drop this video to see what you guys think. I should have done it before so I could add it in here, but whatever. That's my mistake. I also want to know in the comments what you guys think, so also let me know there. But when we're thinking about this, you have to consider your options. What could the Knicks get in a trade for Robinson? Because if you're choosing between Robinson and Hartenstein, here's the incentive to keeping Isaiah. You re-sign him, and you trade Mitch, who has value. If you keep Mitch, you're letting Hartenstein walk, and you're getting nothing in return. So you have to consider that as a very realistic scenario, and that was considered by Bleacher Report, who recently did a mock draft with some trades in it, and it involved a trade between the New York Knicks and the New Orleans Pelicans. Here it is right here, where the New York Knicks would receive the 6th overall pick and Larry Nance Jr., where the Pelicans would receive Mitchell Robinson and the 24th overall pick. I honestly think that's a very fair trade if both teams want to make it. I can see exactly why the Pelicans would want to. You get a great center, Mitchell Robinson, while you're losing Valanciunas. So that is big. Obviously, the Pelicans like Larry Nance backing up Zion because he's a similar player to a degree, which is understandable. But obviously, Larry Nance is not untouchable or anything. And I would not mind this trade going down, if I'm being completely honest here. Now, Mitchell Robinson puts up 5.5 points per game with 8 rebounds, but his stats don't tell the whole story. He's a much better player than what the stats show. The reason he only averages 1 block per game is because no one challenges him at the rim anymore. He's now getting steals because he's excellent at picking the ball off on entry passes. He's the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. That's why that's why there's not more assists on that, because so often he's getting his boards through getting offensive rebounds and putbacks. We're not seeing the full story with Mitchell Robinson's stats here. That's just the honest truth to it. Whereas Larry Nance puts up 5 and 5 with 2 assists per game, can steal the ball, not really a shot blocker. However, you want to play him at center. He's a little small for that, but if you want to play him at center, he does shoot 41% from 3. It's not the highest volume, but he can hit some threes. He's a great mid-range shooter. He gives you a lot to work with, and it would be a much different dynamic from what Hartenstein brings, and definitely from what Mitch brings. All this being said, you have to decide, is this something you want to do? Now, in the process, something I forgot to talk about is in that trade, the mock draft has the Knicks selecting Stephen Castle at 6th overall. Now, I wouldn't hate that pick. I think it definitely fits the Knicks mold of let's take an athletic defender who we can mold into a great player. I think Castle has a nice ceiling on him. But it also comes down to, would you want to draft a big man and have Larry Nance kind of just be your backup big and then develop a big man even though you're picking 6th overall? So it's going to be someone who at least is going to deserve some form of minutes next season. I wouldn't mind the Knicks bringing in a top-tier rookie. Now, obviously, the 6th overall pick is not what it is in the NFL like it is in the NBA. The NBA, you're guessing at 6. I'm being real. You're not picking a surefire star. If you're drafting in the MLB or the NFL, I have no idea about the NHL if I'm being honest, but with the MLB or the NFL, 6th overall means you're probably drafting someone who, in theory, is going to be looked at as someone who should be a perennial star in the league. With the NBA, that's just not the case. That's already 1/10 of the way through the NBA draft at 6th overall. So, especially in a draft that's perceived as weak, there's a good chance you could also just bust right there, which is obviously a scary scenario, because then you're trading Mitchell Robinson for Larry Nance and a draft bust. So it does depend kind of on that, though I think that would be a trade that if you're going to move Mitch, I wouldn't mind. Now, Mitchell Robinson recently put Louisiana in his Instagram bio and also put on his story something that said new beginnings. Maybe he was just messing around with us. Maybe it had nothing to do with basketball. But you have to go down that tree and kind of wonder about what Mitchell Robinson was talking about. But I have something else that I do need to talk to you guys about from Ian Begley, as he said he heard something similar to Jake Fischer's report on Mitch, where when New York talks about potential trades, Mitchell's name, it comes up. He said to not think that the Knicks are fully committed to trading Mitchell Robinson, but his salary, 2 years left on a 4-year, $60 million descending deal, so it's really like he'll be getting paid $14 and $13 million over the next 2 years, is valuable to potential deals, especially when considering how much Mitchell Robinson brings to the table when he's healthy. He's just a phenomenal center. So it's a very solid asset that you have there. At the same time, if the Knicks want to look for stars, that is a tradable contract of a player with value. So maybe instead of doing a trade like that, you hold off, you pair him with Bogdanovich, that's like $35 million, that then you could trade for a different star. I mean, hey, if you want to stick with New Orleans, you could check in on Brandon Ingram or something. They got options. And Mitchell Robinson could very well be traded if the Knicks decide they want to go with Hartenstein over Mitch for the future. But as I said, I do want to know what you guys think about this, because I think we're going to be split as a fan base on what we want to do. Let me say this again, because I think people think that I don't think Mitch is good or anything. I think Mitchell Robinson is better than Isaiah Hartenstein. If you told me that each player would play 65 games per year every season for the rest of their prime, I'm going with Mitch. He's just better. He's an elite defender. However, Mitch is injury prone. So you have to consider that. It makes it a tough choice, and I'm really interested to see what Leon Rose is going to do. I would love for both of them to be back. You get something going where you each play them 24 minutes per game. That probably keeps Mitch a little healthier, gives Hartenstein some good minutes, gives Mitch some good minutes. They're friends. They'd be cool with it. You got 48 minutes of above-average center play. That is very, very good for a basketball team, especially a contending one. But as I said, let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe to Knicks Digest, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Happy Friday night, everyone. Go Knicks.